Anderson Cooper, AC360, CNN weeknights 10 Eastern.
Billy, you've described the response to the oil spill cleanup so far as criminal. First of all, what's your view of BP and how they've handled this so far?
Well, they haven't handled anything. You know, here we are 35 days later. He said the first line of defense broke down. I heard your report. There was no first line of defense. When they put the booms out in the open water, we told them from day one they would not work in 1 foot seas. They were overtopped, they were ripped apart, and the oil came ashore. That's when we put our burn plan together, which would have kept the oil out. We'd have about 20 miles of that burn built if we would have started the day we asked for the permit. It's absolutely ridiculous that they keep pointing the finger between BP and the Coast Guard. I don't understand it. Today, y'all asked Admiral Allen, is he doing everything possible? And instead of saying yes or no, he said the word BP. That's unacceptable.
So is the federal government just, I mean, we keep hearing from Salazar, they're going to put their foot at the neck of BP, hold them accountable. Do you think that's just talk?
Well, I don't know. We spray in one disbursement, and it's the only thing that we're spraying, and there's 1,000 products out there that we could be using that would get this oil out the marsh, and we're not using them. We're doing nothing right. We're not taking care of the fishermen. We're not cleaning up the oil, and we're not keeping it out.
And is the federal government, you think, I mean, have they been criminal as well?
Well, absolutely. The Coast Guard, has given me every reason why we can't do this dredge project. I said, well, give me a better plan. They keep talking about the resources of the Defense Department and everything they have at their disposal. We've got a few elected officials, the governor, some engineers, and some passionate fishermen, and we put a better plan together. Work with us. Let's come up with a better plan. Don't just tell us no or we can't do it in 6 months. I don't think Admiral Allen has ever done a dredge project. We've done them. The people working with him, the experts, say we can do this in 6 months. Who is he to say it'll take at least a year or you can't do it? And then they said $300,000 is too much. That's a third of our budget. But today BP is going to spend $500 million to study the effects. We'll save you $500 million because you won't be able to study anything because it'll be gone.
Billy, I know.
And what you've seen in those pictures is minimal compared to the damage that is coming ahead. It is just starting to get into the breeding grounds, and you will see much more death and devastation amongst the wildlife in South Louisiana in the weeks to come. And today we're doing absolutely nothing but redeploying the same boom and doing some minimal skimming. There is no plan. There is no master plan. There's nobody taking charge. The President of the United States has to step up to the plate. We're begging him. I looked him in the eye for 2 hours. He cares about us. I could tell because he made the Coast Guard implement our dredge, our jackup boats. We have them out there on the front line. He needs to step up to the plate, put somebody in charge that will protect the wetlands and will keep this oil out. We've given him several plans that'll work. Either do our plan or come up with one better. But quit trading back and forth between BP and the Coast Guard. It's like a bunch of kids pointing the finger at each other. Step up to the plate. We need leadership right now. We don't need a blame game.
Doug Brinkley, I want to bring you in here. Obama administration, what have they really been doing? I mean, early on, they push it back saying, this is not our Katrina. Some conservatives were trying to, put that around their necks. But at this point, we're hearing more and more people just saying, look, they're dropping the ball.
Well, I think the public outrage started really clicking in, Anderson, when we had the video footage from under the Gulf and just seeing it gushing out when BP was saying they had a straw working, and it kind of brought the whole public into play. And now we're getting the wildlife and wetlands devastation photographs, and I was just said it's just beginning. It's going to get worse and worse, and those visuals are infuriating the American people. This isn't just going to be a Louisiana problem, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Texas. The people in the Obama administration are working overtime. Thad Allen, head of the Coast Guard, for example, has the Coast Guard to run. Ken Salazar is having to deal with Interior, MMS being investigated, and deal with Fish and Wildlife. I urge President Obama to get a high commissioner to oversee all this. It's no longer a Louisiana issue. It's an entire region of the country. And I agree, we've got to up the game. We've got about 48 hours to do this try of plugging that hole. If that does not work, we've got relief wells. That could be up to 3 months of that gushing oil. It's going to totally devastate the marine environment.
Billy, earlier tonight you said that you're going to give the federal government 24 hours to step up to the plate, or else your council is going to give you $1 million to start building the berms. Are you suggesting you're going to start dredging tomorrow night?
You know, by Friday we'll start mobbing some bucket dredges to build small berms. It won't be the 6 foot in our plan. This will be an interim measure to protect some of the wildlife areas. We'll also take some marsh buggies to build some berms to protect some critical areas. And, you know, the comments that we just made about working overtime, you want to see working overtime, I'll show you some fishermen. Other than that, if they're working overtime, they're wasting their time, because there is absolutely nothing on the ground here. You know, we're still spraying one disbursement. There's 1,000 products out there. Tomorrow we'll give BP 24 hours to put something in the marsh to clean it up. Friday, if they don't answer their call, we will start testing some of these products, and we will start purchasing them, and we will go out there and clean up our marsh. It's time to make a move, have some leadership step up to the plate and take charge. And obviously we don't have that in the Coast Guard or in BP. So I think it's time for somebody to grab the bull by the horns and take action. Working overtime, we got 1,000 people on the ground. All the cheap talk doesn't mean anything. We're not cleaning up the oil in the marsh. We have no means of keeping it offshore. And the disbursements, you've seen the pictures from Jacques Cousteau's son of 50 feet of oil below the surface. What we're doing is we're sinking it and we're hiding it, and it's going to come ashore during hurricane season. And God bless them, and God help them for not protecting our coast. President, it's your turn to step up to the plate, change the people in charge, and make something happen now. We can't wait.
Billy, we're going to be down there tomorrow night. I would love to have you back on the show. Appreciate your voice on this. Thank you very much, Billy. Doug, I want to ask you one last question. We got a Text 360 question from Victoria in Alameda and Sunnyvale, California. She wants to know, could something else go wrong when BP tries to seal off the leak? Could the leak become even worse? I think the answer is yes on this.
A big time yes. It can grow a great deal, and we can have a worse problem if this fails within 48 hours. There's also a lot of people concerned about what the natural gas is doing on the surface. There are people worried about the ships, that basically we have 600 vessels floating around an oil field right now, and there's a fear of further industrial accidents. If BP's putting 100%, Anderson, and they're also trying to build a relief well, why not have ExxonMobil or Chevron start working on the relief well while BP focuses on trying to close the pipe? A lot more energy has to be put into this. I think we have to be planning for the worst case scenario.